Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. Going to talk to Tom Taormina. He is a new Price of Business contributor. Love having him on the show. Love to hear what he has going on. He's got a great story, a great narrative that I love for him to share every time he's on the program. Being involved with at the very beginning of NASA and the space program, which is one of the most romantic chapters, I think, in U.S. history. And Tom, welcome to the program.
Top of the morning, Kevin. How are you?
Good to have you on. And you've got your company. Your company is a consulting firm, but I love your website. It was rocketscience.com, and that book. I love that book, by the way. Fantastic.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you so much.
Yeah, excellent. So tell us a little bit about your firm.
Well, we are in the business of helping companies help themselves to be the best they can be. And fortunately, my background has helped me over the last 45 years bring to these companies a new set of purpose and values. And it's based on what we learned during Project Apollo.
Very good. And what do you have for us as far as the topic today?
Well, that's very interesting. I had an opportunity yesterday to visit the Challenger Center that has been built here locally. And your listeners, I would hope, remember the terrible Challenger tragedy. Their families have endowed across the country the opportunity for schools and different organizations to build replicas, not only of mission control, but of a spacecraft. And high school and grade school kids get to use these things as part of their courseware. And having toured that yesterday at our local high school, just about brought me to tears. It's so good to see that what we are trying to endow back into our culture, the people who survived the Challenger disaster, have given back to our country. I think there are more than 20 of these centers now, all over the United States.
Interesting. Yeah, you got to love that. And it's a horrible tragedy, but it's a tragedy that has been treated with great respect. It
has, and when I got a tour yesterday and got to look at the courseware for these young folks, the thing that really struck home is that they're teaching communications and confidence. And there's two things that are missing from our society, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. No question about it. Yeah, there's every once in a while we've got those I remember moments, and Challenger, I know exactly where I was. I was sitting in my couch in my living room in Hyattsville, Maryland. I worked for a U.S. senator at that time. And for some reason, I had the day off that day, and I don't know what I think I was reading, and then my best friend called me and said, "Dude, are you watching TV?" And I was like, "No, I'm not." And he goes, "Turn on the TV," and sure enough, they were showing over and over again what happened there in January 1986.
Absolutely, I remember the moment as well. It's a shame it takes tragedies like that for us to inculcate things into our brain forever and ever.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. Speaking of NASA, it seems like there's some pretty exciting things going on at NASA that like we haven't heard in quite some time. I'm sure you've been keeping abreast of that.
Well, yeah, I've got a lot of interest in the contract that was just awarded to Boeing and SpaceX for the next manned vehicle. Just the fact that we have a new manned vehicle that's going to be produced is pretty darn exciting.
Yeah, so we don't have to hitch a ride with dictatorial regimes anymore.
Well, absolutely, and they've already told us they're going to kick us off our own space station. I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, that's interesting. And you know what's sad about it? Is we probably won't do much about it.
No, we don't. Absolutely, do not have the backbone to challenge anything anymore.
Yep. Let me ask you, when this whole thing was developed, and the whole program was developed, the space program. How did you see the space program transform business society? How did you see that, take place? Kind of talk a little bit about the way it was before and the way it was after.
Well, the way it was before is we were struggling with technology. We came up with breakthroughs in science and technology fairly regularly, but the advent of Gemini, Apollo, and the ensuing programs just kind of kicked everything into high gear. And the reason for that is we had a purpose. We had to get to the moon. So in getting to the moon, we had to invent technology that had never been invented before. So the early computers, food, dried food ready to eat, all of those things were the mother of necessity. And in the ensuing years, we continue, even today aboard the space station, we continue to invent new biological and medical breakthroughs that are just not publicized anymore. So the sum of it all is we would not be in the wonderful physical shape we're all in, living to our 70s, 80s, and 90s, if it weren't for the space program, and that's just not publicized.
Yeah, no question about it. It's phenomenal how much it changed things, and it really got down to really touching the lives of consumers. I remember those space sticks. Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
I had to have those things. Yeah, those chewy, chocolatey space sticks, and of course Tang, which we still have today.
Yes.
And it was very transformative, and it was very cool, and it became extremely proud for us to be Americans again.
Well, the MREs that the soldiers use now, of course, are a direct product of the space program, and I'm sure they enjoy that better than K rations.
Ooh, yeah. Those were pretty nasty, what I understand. No question about it. My dad used to have some pretty nasty stories about the K rations. He said he'd rather go hungry, he said. And he often did. So, well, great stuff, Tom. Love your book. Tell us more about it real quick with the minute left and how people can get it.
It was. Rocket Science is available through all of your major book outlets, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. And what I've tried to do in that book is to give this generation a very clear picture of how we got to the moon, and then how afterwards we started to decline in our social accountability, and we've lost this incredible desire to achieve something wonderful for the society, and at the same time, we can solve our energy and all the rest of our problems if we just got together and went somewhere. Very
good. Thank you so much. Thanks for being with us, my friend.
Thanks, Kevin.
We'll look forward to having you on soon. It was rocketscience.com. It was rocketscience.com. That's probably the quickest and easiest way to get to that book. Transformative. Yeah. It really is. And we need to restore those values in the way we do business today. I'm Kevin Price. Do want to remind you, best content there, including this interview, can be found over there at usdailyreview.com. And this is The Price of Business.